Despite his obvious homophobia, Manny Pacquiao was a hero of mine, not just because he's a great warrior. But in a world where boxing is perceived to be dominated by a few ethnicities due to their genetics, this Philpino king came from the shadows and stomped some ethnic diversity into the competition. I love that, because it serves to show that there is no limitation on the individual. You should not be defined by what society says you are based upon factors you had no control over. But instead, find the authority within yourself to take the reins and define yourself. And through pure baddassery-based action, Manny Pacquiao did just that. Absolute respect to this man. Thank you, Manny. All of that being said, let's jump into a bit of why Manny Pacquiao is so fast and also so powerful. Remember, brothers, you may copy a method, but you cannot copy one's soul. Only Manny can be Manny, but equally as incredible. Only you can be you. Let's begin to first understand why Manny is so powerful. To do so, we must first understand what power is. Power in essence is force, and force is mass times acceleration. The mass you have in proportion to the speed it travels is the damage you will deal precisely to the point the mass is delivered. Considering how fast Manny's hands move, for a lot of us, it still doesn't make sense as to why he does so much freaking damage, as he doesn't look like he's putting a lot of body into his hand. Well, if you understand mass times acceleration, a law of the universe, you don't need to move your body a whole lot if you move your body like Manny. Look, pay close attention to his feet. He may not have an insane torso rotation into his punch, but he has perfect timing when it comes to timing each bursty step with an insanely fast punch. He doesn't take big steps, but he bursts his weight with very small ones and times his punch perfectly with that step. Timing. He is putting a ton of body into each punch. It's just he compensates for a huge range of motion with genius level timing. Just watch. That's exactly what he does. All of those punches have KO force behind them because of that timing. Even though, due to the shorter range of motion, it almost looks like an illusion. Like, it shouldn't be that powerful, but I promise you, with this technique, lights are going out. Like that. The next understanding I want to explain is his speed. Manny is definitely a freak of nature who undeniably has cultivated a gift crafted through hard work. But he is using a technique to give him way more speed than the rest of the competition. This again resides in his timing in shorter ranged movements. Because Manny has a very short torso rotation, if at all when it comes to his punch, paired with the hand speed, he just has a faster recovery, setting him up for the next punch. Each punch is powerful due to the timing with a short burst of mass, but the recovery is just as remarkable. His shorter movements allow him to set up for another punch before his opponent can even realize what just happened and throw back at all. He just overwhelms you with insane recovery time, and the fact you feel his power through your guard, you get stuck not knowing what to do, left paralyzed in that guard. If you pair that with brilliant ringmanship taught by a great coach, it's no wonder Manny is one of the greatest boxers of all time. What we truly have to note though, which no one ever does, we talk about his speed, we talk about his power, but why doesn't anyone mention this man's cardio? I have no idea how he can burst his body with so much power, with so much persistence in these unending flurries. How he can keep doing that, keep smashing you with power from beginning to end. And he just doesn't tire out. That's what really freaks me out about this man. About Manny, I don't understand it. He just keeps going and going with power. Wow. Before I end this video, I want to highlight one simple and clean technique Manny uses to subtly increase his power while moving his center line. Look at how clean this technique is. How he hops to the left while timing that short, clean movement with a right jab. He can do this with either hand, and does frequently do this as part of his mix-up. The reason why I like it so much, as it helps him reposition himself in the ring by subtly circling his opponent, and it also acts as a dodge by shifting his center line. But above all of that, it has devastating power because it shifts his mass, and as he shifts his mass, he perfectly times his insane hand speed with that shift. You can hear it. The way the power echoes off that mid is devastating. It's so simple. yet so effective. So now the question would be, is this the optimum way of punching? God no. There is no such thing as an optimum way of punching. Gennady Golovkin, an incredible world champion, has literally the opposite method of striking. His hand speed isn't nearly as fast as Manny's, but because he's a middleweight, thus more mass, and because of who he feels he is, it's authentic to himself, he uses a massive range of motion through a wider stance to cleave his opponent in half with a hook. It's literally the opposite of what Manny does. Manny is short, nimble with fast hand movement. Gennady is huge, cleaving ranges of motion with slower but heavy on the mass hooks. It's not about being Manny or Gennady. I believe in Bruce Lee when he said, yeah, sure, always be learning, always try to grow through learning different techniques and such, but to also express oneself honestly. And to that end, I believe if we do, the pieces will fall into place. Not because you learned how to be more like Manny, but because you were able to be more like you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. It's good karma. And until next time, peace.